gonna have it,
And we'll
yeah.
close, okay,
Then we'll do the general.
we'll do,
We're gonna do a roll call.
Commissioner Buckley.
Here.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Here.
Commissioner Cater.
Here.
And I think you can go into the
Okay, and
meeting.
then we'll, after the hearing, we'll recess and then go into a regular meeting.
All right.
The commission has talked long and hard with the sheriff and other people, and we know what the sheriff wants, the new sheriff, incoming sheriff, wants to do and how much it'll cost him, and so we worked the budget around that. We talked to many of the office holders and worked with their budget, and we are presenting this proposed budget for 2025. I guess.
So let me ask you this, are these slides going to be available to put on the website?
Well,
Or what are you gonna put on the website? 'Cause
This is being recorded now, and the budget is on the website.
Do you think you could get these slides and
Send them over. I personally don't have access to the website stuff,
can
but
get
I can get them over to Jess.
And then the other thing is, it's gonna be, what, an hour or two before it goes online?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, but since we've got one citizen here, if somebody wants to view your presentation here,
Yeah.
let's make it available to them.
Well, there are copies of this on the table.
And we have copies of it, and are we gonna put the proposed budget or the final budget on the?
Well, right now, it's proposed until after the hearing.
So after the hearing, you will have it available, we'll put it on the website, is that correct?
Yeah, we'll make any changes and then we can send out the final budget to everybody and get it sent to IT.
Okay,
Oh,
that's great, I just want to let them know that if they'll give us some time, let's say a few days, then the budget will be, line by
Okay.
line, will be available on.
Okay, now, it's on the agenda that we will act on this today, but we can delay that for next, 31st is our
That's
next
all right.
meeting. So that might be more appropriate.
I think it is, I think that gives you 2 weeks if there's any problem, I know it's a holiday, but if there's any problems or anything that anybody brings up, you can react to it, and then we can just take it out and adopt it on the 31st.
Well, when we get to that on the agenda,
Give or
item, we'll
take
just
a
pass
penny.
it on, or
Give or
table it
take
or
a penny.
whatever.
Give or take a penny.
Okay. All right, so there's the overview of it, in solid state condition. I've been meeting with other counties around us, and every county around us is hurting. We're the only one that's fiscally solid. So, it's sad, Iron County says they're gonna have to cut services and lay people off. So it's sad in some of those counties. They're losing population, they're losing tax base. So we're very good, they consider us the rich uncle.
So I did run some numbers and, your figure up there is pretty close as far as restricted. It's $3,376,622.10
General stabilization.
is what's restricted as special revenue funds. General stabilization, believe it or not, is not actually a restricted fund. It's considered a part of general fund.
Yeah.
But we restrict it, but by law, it's not necessarily restricted.
And I was talking to Bridget, and there is a requirement on the emergency fund that it be 3% of the income.
Correct. Of
Okay.
general funds, budgeted revenue, we have to set aside, allocate 3% of that to the
Now,
emergency.
that's something like 1.5 million. And
Yes.
we've got 411,000 in there now, something on that order.
Yes, so we only have to move money to that fund if there's not enough money in that fund to cover 3%.
Okay.
But we have to budget that as an expense of the fund in case of an emergency.
Now, is
that
that
would be used.
statutorial or
It
are
is.
rules here?
Now, what we could do,
Statute.
is move money out of the general stabilization fund to that emergency fund, which is just a shift of funds, and then that would satisfy everything,
I mean, you could.
to get up to your 3%.
Well, we're definitely at the 3%.
You've been at 3% for years.
Yeah, we're good.
We've not had to, I think we moved money maybe
Okay,
in 23.
3% of
but-
what?
Of the anticipated revenue for general fund, not
For
all
general
funds,
fund.
just
Okay, I
general
was
fund.
going for all of it, okay. Come on in.
The
Hey,
general
man,
stabilization fund was created, gosh, we had to look
We're in
this
the
up
early
for the
argument
last audit,
stage now.
but,
Okay.
it was created essentially as a savings account to where
Yeah,
it wasn't necessarily that it would fall under the emergency guidelines, but if extra money, if we get into a pandemic or
Okay.
where we're not, we have that to fall back on to help supplement general fund or to then transfer to other funds as needed.
I read that 3% as the entire anticipated income.
No, it's
No,
just
okay.
general revenue.
No.
All right,
And
for
you've
those-
had it, and you've had it for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had enough. For those that can't see this and talk about it, we have 54,000 expected anticipated income, 54 million. Anticipated expenses from all funds is just under 48 million. So the anticipated surplus, and that's what they've been talking about, is about 6.5 million. And that's mainly, a lot of that's restricted with the opioid fund and the other funds that you were talking about. But that's where we currently look. Was there other stuff that you wanted to point out to let people know what they want to ask questions or anything about, or any other?
I did want to add, in that 54 million of revenue, a little over 16 million of that is surplus from prior years. So to speak to what Harold was saying about us being pretty solvent is
We're
we've been
carrying
able
forward.
to carry forward $16 million.
You count cash on hand as revenue?
So we have to budget that. That's included in as far as that
So it's a shift
emergency.
over, so it's revenue.
Correct. So
Anything we're
what we do
carrying
is we
forward.
budget that, because then if that surplus is to be used in the current and the next year, then it's available, it shows as an available revenue source.
For example, like the project over in West County, that money that we budgeted last year will then, isn't that what
Correct.
you're talking about? Will move into this
Right.
fiscal year.
Correct.
And it will be showed as revenue, but it's really money that's being carried over from things that we anticipated to be done last year, but did not get done.
Correct.
Is that-
Well, we got another situation with the door locks. That's gonna be $154,000, something like that. And we want that on this year's budget, but it's gonna be early next year before it can be installed.
We'll move it forward, yeah, so that's it, those are good examples of what you're talking about, Eddie. So it reflects that there's that much there, but some of it's moved forward.
Commissioners, in reference to your comments, Harold, about us being a rich uncle,
That's what the other counties say.
okay, well, I caution you, the state of Missouri just last week said that their revenue was down $60 million going into January 1. We are cautiously optimistic in preparing this budget.
I know.
I reminded you last year that George Washington said, you know, we need to consult our means and not our wishes. So we appreciate what the office holders submitted for their budget. And we'll be very cautious as to the incoming revenue, whether it be a use tax, a sales tax, property tax for the next year.
Yeah. And we've got a road tax sunsetting in 29?
27.
27.
I thought it was
Okay.
27.
That's gonna be serious.
Next,
Have that.
we need to look at that and figure out at what point do we put that. We don't want to put it in on the ballot the last possible election it can go. You want to do that early. We always renew the one in Farmington, our sales tax, a year prior to its dismissal, even though it only carries on from that point, because therefore, if you would have some reason to fail and you would like to re-go, it's not a new tax, it's still a continuation of that road tax. But if we, without that road tax, it will cripple all these people that come asking you to keep paving their roads. We won't be able to pave.
Well, that's one of our weakest things we have right now. If we look to the future, that's the part where we're actually
Yeah,
hurting.
agreed.
That's what we really need to look into, because that's our biggest issue now. As far as phone calls I get is the roads, and of course, you know, there's a lot of HOAs out there, a lot of them don't understand.
Right.
You know, it's up to them for their situation to handle what they have. We cannot do that.
Get it back over there.
And really the biggest issue that I have right now is people calling me on blacktop and roads. I would say that's one of the
Those roads aren't
biggest
gonna go
issues I
away, and
have.
the problems with the roads aren't gonna go away.
No, and you know, we know in the future, Hillsborough Road is gonna be costly, because there's really only one way. We can't keep overlaying Hillsborough. At some point, we're gonna have to start
Build a base
really
under it.
correcting Hillsborough and build it to what it's supposed to
Have
be.
we ever done traffic studies on the roads that are tasked with.
Yes.
Bob had done some traffic studies, which you can call, you can call the state and get traffic.
RPC's got that.
Yeah,
CMOD,
RPC, we can do traffic studies on roads, and Bob,
Well,
matter of fact,
I
has
mean,
done some.
We always did volume too.
Mhm.
Every few years, we do how much volume is on Hillsborough, you've mentioned.
Right.
Hillsborough.
Hillsborough is
But
one of the most
People
traveled.
don't here know the difference between D and Hillsborough. D is a
Yeah.
state
State
road.
highway, yes.
Right.
And even though they run kind of parallel and everything, one of them's our responsibility and our cost, and the other one's the state's. That's a
Hillsborough's
huge
Well,
difference.
Hillsboroug's
most-
probably one of the most traveled roads county has.
Because
I
it's
mean,
one
it's
of your-
used nonstop.
That is our responsibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The
And
only
it-
change to the budget that's been presented or requested was by the circuit court, which I've given you guys a copy of. Due to a retirement, they're asking to increase their equipment line by $2,000 to purchase a new stenography machine for the new court reporter coming in. I did give you guys copies of what that change would look like as far as what GL accounts would be affected.
Bridget, are you making notes on that?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So,
Yes, and thanks
Is
for
there
doing
anything
this.
else that they need to adjust if you're going to wait for that last one?
As of right now, they said that would be the only change that they're aware of.
We've got 2 weeks to make those changes if we do as the commissioner proposed. So is there any people that, I know they haven't looked at
Any
it.
public
but
comment,
we've got
any
copies.
questions?
Yeah, we've got the copies here.
Yeah, there's more
Right.
copies here too.
I brought in 6 or 8 copies.
Anybody?
Well, this is the county copy.
all your money on there, right?
Those changes, by the way, just came in about 3 minutes before you all met this morning.
Yeah.
So,
For the, yes, you came, thank you.
So, you know, be prepared between now and December, or whatever you get for some adjustments.
It's 31.
Exactly. And the good thing, we did get to meet with a lot of them, so it's like,
Yeah, for
they
instance,
were
there's not
pretty-
been any sheriff's cars bought for a year or more. And they cost 67,000 or so apiece. So he's looking at buying 10. $750,000 right there, every time you get them supplied and going. So, you know, we've talked with him long and hard about what he wants to do and when he needs to do it. So we think that he's in good shape on that. And he seems to be happy with the proposed budget. And that and other office holders too. So it's not been an idle time. Any other public comments or questions?
Okay, for those of you who weren't here, Commissioner Gallagher said that we're gonna close this one out, and then they will finalize it in 2 weeks. So if anybody's got input, if you took the copies and you got input, auditors see something that they didn't see, we've got to that time, we can just open it on the 31st, and then you can approve it at that time, and we've got kind of a 2-week period here that if we do need to make some changes, we can do it.
Now, we're proposed budget now, and then after we act on it in 31st, then it's the final official budget.
And I will ask you to table this first agenda, because the next meeting, when you act on it, so you can
Okay.
just, we'll put that on your table
Okay.
agenda.
All right, so is any other thing on the public hearing? Okay, we're at 10 a.m., so let's start the official meeting.
You
Call
ready?
this meeting to order.
Call it to order. Commissioner Buckley.
Here.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Here,
Commissioner Cable.
Here.
as you wish, please stand for the invocation of the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Commissioner.
Dear Lord, please be with us during this holiday season. Help people figure out what it's for and that they know what this season is all about. It's about you, dear Lord. Dear Lord, keep us safe. Keep us where we can do the best for the county, make the best decisions that we can make for the county, dear Lord. Dear Lord, there's a lot of us at this annex building alone in the courthouse that need your extra healing this time of year, dear Lord. Be with them and be with the people that need you. I ask this in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Okay, you have a consent agenda on the board. Has been published. Motion.
Make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I make a motion. I second that, yes.
Questions? Okay, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Consideration of final budget, this we're gonna table.
Please table.
Okay,
Vote
Say
for
we
that.
table that.
okay,
I'll make a
Motion to table.
okay, second.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
That'll be on the 31st, okay, and that's what we're gonna do on the 31st, okay. The SFC of St. Francis County and the coroner have a new agreement. The only changes we made, we acted a couple weeks ago on moving a phone around in the office, and that's basically more about the payment of the bill than anything, I think. It's a cell phone. And also to get it on the record that we have 2 deputy coroners now. Motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the agreement between St. Francis County and the coroner.
Second.
I'll second that.
Any questions?
Carrie, thank you for taking that too.
Yep.
Okay, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Monthly report, yes.
Yes, I apologize, Linda was messing around last week on vacation. And so, Jay, is there something special on your,
No,
on that?
I don't know why.
Normally, this would appear
Well-
on the consent
Right.
agenda, but Corey put it on this thinking that when you sent it to her, that it needed to be on the regular agenda.
No.
So-
I think we made,
You still
give an extended report.
Extended report on
Give your report.
that. See how well you know that.
We're doing quite well, thank you. I will defer to Amber at this point.
All right, well, I just thought I'd tell
Well-
you, it isn't anything special, you just.
This is normally on a consent agenda, but it wound up on this, so we played fine with the rules and put it on today's meeting.
That's right.
So, motion to accept that report.
I make a motion, we accept the monthly report from the recorder of the deeds.
Second.
With some reservation, all in favor, aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
Thank you, Jay.
Kim, thanks for being here.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Okay, we have a resolution for we've applied for a grant to put a new roof and solar cells on the Weber Road facility. And this is part of that agreement. Bridget, you want to talk about it, or?
We just had to have that resolution stating that we'll
Gonna do the
complete
work.
it in the timeframe allowed if we
Okay.
are approved.
If we're awarded the.
If we get it, okay.
Right.
All right, motion.
I make a motion to accept the resolution for the Missouri Efficiency and Conservation Grant.
Second.
Second.
Do you know the dollar amount on that, was it 50?
Oh, no, it was up.
Oh, for the grant,
Yeah.
it was 217,000 is what we asked
Okay, where
for.
did I get close?
Well, it was up to 500,000 if you
Okay.
could find
Right.
the whole use, but.
Yep, and there was no match.
Right,
Okay.
no match, which was really nice.
Okay. But this will also do some repairs on the roof and give us a new roof too. So that was one of our main interests in them. Okay, did we get a final vote?
No.
Okay, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay, we did some pilings on the bridge at Sand Creek, and it wasn't in the original cost estimate. And so we need to pay that $12,900 plus dollars. Motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve $12,916.80 to Brock Miller Construction on an addition. It was the pilings at the Sand Creek Bridge.
Okay, second.
And I second that, but also want to know that was actually included, but it's something that the state BRO wasn't gonna pay for because of the extra piling that they had left over. So when they went 20 foot on the other ones and said, okay, everything's gonna be 20 or 22 foot, well, we have some rock here in Missouri, and they actually
Really?
hit rock, yes. And it was amazing that it only went so many feet, and the
Yeah.
state will not pay for that.
The name Sand Creek is for a reason. That's not a
So,
rock-born
I
area.
just wanted to make sure why people knew we were gonna take care of this.
Okay, have a motion second. Yeah, Rich.
Where's the money coming from
Good question.
to pay that?
006, 007, 007.
I think they entered it to be paid out of the road and bridge fund.
Road Bridge Fund. yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay, here's a picture of that bridge. It's going well.
I know, it's good.
Okay. Next regular meeting, 31st, due to the Christmas holidays. Guess what happens at 11:15? Boy, we got a lot of time.
I'm really looking for that green bean casserole.
Green bean casserole. Well, that's
I'm seeing
Special
green bean
Friday.
casserole.
they're probably just now starting to cook that.
I don't think there's anything that's on the.
I was gonna say,
Rolls. There'll be rolls.
there's some pasta.
Well, I was telling Bridget, it's hard to get a Christmas picture without a dead turkey in the middle of it, so.
Could be Marsupius up top. We don't know.
We'll try to go early and see if they'll let us grab it before they.
Okay.
That's all right.
So,
Hey, we can all mingle and enjoy each other's
Okay, well,
company.
and as that red print shows, it's not a county expense, elected officials will pay for this.
Repeat that again, because we get calls on it. Should
We
repeat that
do.
again, very loud.
This is paid for by the elected officials.
Not by the county.
Thank you very much for all that
Yes.
chipped in, and I think everybody does, so that,
Not a county
and Parks.
expense.
I'm leaving a
Parks
picture
is-
on to make everybody hungry, that's what I'm doing.
Parks, thank you
We had-
for,
we had a
taking
pro
care of
temp
it.
In his office, everything had a sticker on it, not paid for by the taxpayers. TV, not paid for by the taxpayers.
I do have some receipts for
Well, the
the
stickers
clocks
paid
that
for
we
by
have
the
that I actually have in a folder.
The stickers were paid by the taxpayer.
Yeah, they have the stickers.
In the tape, in the tape, in the tape.
You know me, Amber, it's like, I got a receipt for that.
Okay, and,
As an employee,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
and by the way,
Thank
everybody
you,
here
guys.
is invited to that. We do appreciate your participation in the meetings, and your interest in your county, and thank you, and we want you to stay for the meal. I might be another hour before we serve.
Yeah,
I
because
don't
we're
know.
still talking.
You can go and
We're
come
not
back.
talking yet. We still get to talk. Kevin's probably up in the
Yeah, well, that's good for an hour. right
Could be.
there. Okay. We close Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, that's a surprise.
Is that?
And we closed again on New Year's Day. Anybody got any public comment or correspondence?
Yes. Whitney Shrumway? Sorry, she's gonna beat me for beating. Yes, thank you. I just call her Whitney Shrum. Anyway, so she sent a letter. No, there is not, but I'm sorry. We know each other good enough to fight like that. So, the mental health board just wanted to let us know, they have a full-time
Is
board.
that how you know her, the mental health board?
It is. They have a full-time board now at this time. They have a Megan Hunter's their president, Whitney is their vice president, Joanna Watts is their treasurer, and Jennifer Beard is the secretary. So they are in the process of developing their website for everyone to see. And Brandon Tucker, which we all know him, and Lori, I think it's supposed to be Lori Crum, is working on that project as we speak. So I just want to let you know, she said they couldn't be here, and I was like, good, because it wasn't on the agenda to put their report, so I just figured I'd give you a very fast report. So.
I don't know, some of you may know Chad Follis, he's out of Fredericktown, and he now is a doctor at Mizzou, and he's kicking off their new internship program, and we are their pilot project. Before they release this to 114 counties in the state, they want to fine tune the system, so they're going to use us. So I've been talking to recorder, collector, assessor, and some of the offices to see if they would be interested in interns. And 2 or 3 of those have responded well, so I've got them talking to Chad now.
You didn't say commission? We don't get any interns?
No, we don't do it.
Sorry, Bridget.
But anyway, these are college kids that are college students that will be working at our basically base pay with no benefits, so it's cheap for us. And it's a good way for us to shop for possible future employees, and also give them an idea of what the work ethic is, and on if they want to enter this kind of field or if they want to do something else or whatever. So my granddaughter's intern, she's in construction college study, and she's locked in on her major now. It's proved to her that's what she wants to do. So she's fitting in well with that program. So anyway, it's a good program. So it's very seasonal, but it can work out well if you need them.
And if they're interested for your office to get an intern, let us know,
Yeah,
and we'll
and
get
let
you
me
in
know.
contact with Chad.
We can connect you with the right people and get that done.
They did a really nice
And
little talk.
one of the questions that came up was our collector, most of their people have to be bonded because of all the cash they have. Well, do these interns need to be bonded, and can they be bonded because they're possible young age? So Chad is working on that, and he's looking into that aspect of it. So that's the kind of thing they need to fine tune these systems. Okay, any other correspondence? Public comments? Departmental reports, hit it.
Couple things. One, 2 weeks from today, as you say, you're gonna vote on the budget. The other thing we're gonna do is at 11 o'clock, we will recognize some retirees, but at 11 o'clock, we will have the swearing in for the elected officials with a reception to follow. They will be sworn in as of midnight that night, since we will be closed the next day. And I thought I'd tell you, remember a couple of years ago, you changed the sick time, the people that were building up so much sick time and coming to the limit, and offered the 60% pay, so we've saved 40% of the money going out. We will pay out this pay period $43,800 to people that didn't use all their sick time, as much as $2,500 for one, as high as $2,500, as little as $69 they're getting back, and as much as almost $2,500. So that's win-win for both parties. Appreciate it.
I'll be waiting for my check for sick time in my office.
I would go to the office and start waiting.
Hold your breath right there.
Commissioners, per statute, the auditor's office has completed the inventory of the transition for the public administrator. We'll be finalizing the sheriff's department at the end of this week.
Okay, I'll talk to you later about what else I got on my mind.
Any other departmental report? Yes.
I would like to point out, even though the offices are closed on Christmas Eve and Christmas and New Year's Day, the Parks Department will be open and in full operation. Nice weather is forecasted over the next 2 weeks with people with family coming in. I encourage you to go out, take a walk.
We're getting good word about the people's acceptance of the park and their appreciation of the park.
Overwhelmingly positive.
Yes.
It's going well. And I understand that they're helping keep it clean, and it's going well in that order, and not having any drug issues or anything like that.
Yep.
So,
And the sheriff's department have had deputies come through a couple times a day at random times.
Good. Yeah.
Just,
but it's not been an issue at all.
nope.
And early on, we decided that when a young mother can park her car in a parking lot and take her little girl on a tour, hike through the park without worries, we're successful. And that's kind of our goal, to make sure that that's accepted. So if that young mother doesn't feel good doing that, then we've got a problem. So that's our mark of success. Okay, any other departmental reports?
Well, I wanted to make a comment that, Mike, did you say that today they started surveying?
Today, yes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Today, we started surveying for Phase 2 trail. We pretty much already have it staked out of how it's gonna go. It's right at just under a mile. But today, we actually started the survey on it.
Moving right along. And how's the grant status on that?
It's approved.
Has been approved?
Yes, the Phase 2 grant, the recreational trails program.
I say, not in my department, but just shopped at the cop before I came here, and it was a good turnout, a lot of smiling kids there. It was, looked like everything went well over there this morning, so I know they had a lot of
Pretty
kids
busy?
over there.
Yes.
Yes, a lot of kids there.
There was, kids were
Lot of kids.
snaked through if you've ever been to the garden center over there, it's huge, and they were snaked through every aisle.
Snaked? You're gonna use that word?
Well, they were snaked through, isn't that what they
Stuffed.
call it? No, snaked. What do you call it? I'm sorry.
Meandering.
I'm not hip anymore, I don't know the new words, but they were not causing any trouble staying in line. But anyway, what it seemed like happened is a lot more volunteers, I guess, because there's only so many officers to go around. So they had some from the Department of Correction, they had the conservation guys there, and they brought the little dog with them. Oh, so cute. Anyway, so just they have there's like 5 dogs in the Missouri that was given to each conservation area. And they,
Service dogs?
yeah, and it's in the Missouri Conservation Book, but I can't remember which one. It was about 7-8 months ago, maybe. And he brought one to the MAC conference. One of them did. Those dogs are awesome. Anyway, so everybody, of course, liked the dog. They didn't care about what we were doing. But the little girl I was shopping with, she goes, "Hey, let's go find that dog."
But, Teo and Kai were there, our sheriff's department dogs were there as well.
Oh, I didn't see them, but that's awesome. Santa Claus and Grinch were there.
The letters are going out, I guess, today on the, to the recipients of the opioid funds.
They've all been contacted, just told them it might be, with holidays, it might be a week or two by the time they got, but they've all been contacted, they were all very, very excited.
I signed those 10 letters this morning, so, okay. All right, any other departmental reports? Okay, now we can stretch this out for another hour and wait for the food to get here.
No.
Please, God.
We've got work. You don't, we do.
No, we just have to, never mind.
You do your thing.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Yes.
Thank
Okay,
you.
got a motion, second.
Second.
All in favor of adjournment, aye.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate you. Stick around for a meal.
Yeah, I can't miss ours.